Hi guys, welcome along to another battle report, and finally, after 3 years of me having this rulebook, I've got a game of War and Conquest in. This is only a quick game. It's my Wessex versus Normans. We're still learning the rules and that, but God, 3 years, finally got some good historical players at my club that want to do it, which is just fantastic. Always a downside of being in the middle of nowhere. So, War and Conquest, this is probably one of the offsprings of Warhammer Ancient Battles when that was finally finished off by good old Games Workshop. I'm sure there's still plenty of games being played with it, and it was a fantastic rule set. But once the support for that kind of vanished, one other game came up, which I think was Clash of Empires, which I never really got into. I believe that's very much more similar to the Warhammer Ancient Battles. And a short while later, Rob Broom came out with War and Conquest. If you've played Warhammer Ancient Battles, you know roughly what's going on with the rules here. They're similar in some respects, but there's a whole chunk of changes to it, and these changes is what really makes War and Conquest special, in my opinion. To me, this is a superior version of Warhammer Ancient Battles. It's really moved on and created a better rules system for it. The army lists, by the way, are all free and downloadable on the Scarab Forums website. I might be able to put a link in it if I remember. I'm normally naff with it. To Scarab Forum, Scarab Miniatures, sorry, Forum. You find it on there. And this is my army of Wessex. I've just got down here on the bottom. I've got 2 units of 18 churls. They're Wessex churls, so they've got a better combat ability. I've got the large unit there is 18 Thanes. Again, they're Wessex Thanes, so I've paid for the upgrade for better combat ability. In front, I've got 2 units of 10 Slingers. In behind, I've got I think he was an Earl for this game, yeah, so he can move around by himself. And on the far flank, I've got 8 mounted Thanes. Also, you notice in the middle of both of our boards at the back, you've got these little round circles. They're called rally points. Basically, when your men flee after their initial shot, they'll flee towards your rally point. So it's quite an interesting idea that you can put these in positions around the place and get your men to flee to a different point. Eventually, I'm going to get some of those nice Renenga plastic Saxon tents, and I'll probably use that for my base. But the little round circles have to do for now. My opponent's range is 3 units of 8 Norman Millites. He's got a Commes, I think, as his commander. He's got Liberary Infantry up front and a unit of archers. And the Liberary is pushed up so far because in this game, when you set up, you do the alternative setup. And if your opponent's got nothing to set up, he can then move a unit 3 inches, which I really like. I like the idea of you're still desperately trying to get your guys into battle formation, and the opponent's already starting to march on you. So I think that's a great little rule. So yeah, this is after my first turn. I've already moved up, and my opponent's just starting his movement. Here's some close-up shots of my opponent's forces. Also in this game, you randomly draw an objective for the game. If the objective is completed, you win the game. If not, it then goes to how many battle formations you have remaining in your own army. As I say, the secret, so your opponent doesn't know what you're trying to achieve. My goal for this game was to destroy my opponent's 2 most expensive units, and my opponent's objective was to claim the center of the table, have no enemy within 12 inches of it. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting attempt for that. So my opponent pushes up, as you can see, and we're looking something like this. Yeah, I have the option to put my infantry to shield wall. Downside with shield, I gain the +1 armor to my front and shield wall, but my movement goes down to 2. So I don't fancy that quite yet. I want to try and get up in his face first. I'll probably use shield wall as more of a defensive thing in a minute when things go horribly wrong. So in the second turn, I gain the strategic advantage. In this game, once both players have gone, you then roll for the initiative in the next game to see who goes first. And you can use what they call strategy invention points, which you get from your leaders, which can help you try and win these. So it is possible to have 2 goes in a row. So basically, you could go second in one turn, so your opponent goes and you go, and then gain the strategic advantage to be able to choose to go first in the next one. So that makes things quite interesting. But for the moment, I've moved up, as you can see here. This game, again, is no pre-measuring game. It's back into the the old school sort of play, and I haven't done this for a while since I've been playing good old Warhammer. So my mounted Thanes I've placed up there, hoping to be far enough away from his cavalry while able to engage his archers. Here's just a close-up of his infantry. I managed to shoot one of them off with a sling, which was quite nice. In my opponent's turn, he charges my skirmishers. In this game, you can choose to flee like you can in games like Warhammer, but skirmishers have the ability to evade. And what evade basically does is you pass a morale check. It's the same as a flee move. You can flee or shoot and flee and still evade. But you automatically rally at the end of it. If you don't pass the morale check, you're just a normal fleeing routing unit. So he charges my skirmishers, and they flee through my troops, and I pass my cohesion test on my troops to make sure they don't lose their formation. And he stops where he stops. Over here was a definite crap moment. I obviously haven't been playing games where I can't pre-measure for a long while, and I was a good inch out, maybe two, for him to get his charge into me. I thought, bloody hell, 14 inches. By the way, these Millites have all got thrusting spears, so they get one penetration in the round that they charge, which means I'll be having my arm reduced by one. So I don't hold up much help here from my Thane. As you see, I lose 3 to his 1. I lost the fight, but miraculously my boys decide to hold. It's a normal kind of combat resolution that you're used to from many other games. How many wounds you caused, charge bonus. The Millites also have a shock, which means they get a bonus +1 on the turn they charge. So my opponent had 4 points, I had 3. Cavalry don't get ranks. So my opponent had 4 points, I had 1, so it's a difference of 3. So I had 3 off my morale when I took my chest. Because I'm over half strength, I can take my leadership tests on 3d6, and I really like this. This stops big little units smashing through healthy big units, and you can feel more of a grind. But once things go wrong, you're back to your normal 2d6 for your morale checks. So in the following turn, I use my strategy intervention point to make sure I had the strategic advantage for this turn, so I was able to charge and stop him charging. So I charge my churls down the bottom into his knights with a general in, and he chooses to flee. Which revealed a new unit for his knights behind, so I then declared the charge onto the new unit of knights. He held, he didn't believe it was in charge range, and I had a failed charge. So I just moved forward d6 inches. My Thanes charge into his Liberi, and overall things are looking as they are. I just moved my skirmishers up the top there, just to try and have a few shots against his archers. In the centre, my superior troops smashed through my opponent, which I was quite surprised about. Even though I didn't have very many attacks, I had 6 attacks, because my guys are armed with thrusting spears, so I fight in the 2 ranks when I don't charge. My opponent was fighting in 2 ranks, but my guys were far superior to his, and managed to break them, and then clipped into these guys, so realigned up to these chaps. And a return of fortunes on this side. They did well last turn, but they couldn't hold up for a second round. The Millites were far superior to them, so I didn't stand a chance there really. They blitzed them this turn, so that's now got that cavalry unit free. In this combat, when I charged in, I thought I had him, and couldn't believe it, I actually lost combat. Yeah, my dice weren't with me then, I'll tell you that. So in the next turn, I'm moving my skirmishers up here. As you can see, his Millites with his general in it, they actually failed to rally and were continuing to flee. So I just moved my skirmishers up to get behind and throw some rocks at them to make sure they don't rally, because obviously any of these Millites units will be his most expensive units. In the centre here, I'd like to let you know that I'm now fighting in 3 ranks. In the second rounds of combat, you fight in 2 ranks, and I have thrusting spears, which allows me to fight in an additional rank. And even though I had multiple attacks against his 7 attacks, because I think the 1 casualty, no, he might have had all 8 last time, so it was 8 attacks against my 17. I lost this combat, and luckily I held. On my right flank, his Millites turn around to face off against my skirmishers. As you can see, I've lost a few guys there. I've got 2 dice there just to let me know they need a morale check from the shooting. I lost a couple of guys there, and I'm also already down to 6 guys. Once you fall below your minimum unit size, which is the same as a rank, so 6 for infantry, 4 for cavalry, you just remove the unit as it's dispersed. So 1 more wound and those 4 skirmishers are dispersed. In the centre here, I finally roll some good dice and completely wipe them out. The cavalry out, and I just get my other guys. My 2 other units are now forming up into shield wall. So my movement's now reduced, but they get +1 armour. And I'll swing 1 round now to face off against the Millites coming in on the flank. And I'll send off my Thanes just to try and drive off the remainder of the Millites heading towards the board edge. So we're looking something like that. This is at the end of my movement. I think I pretty much had the strategic advantage every turn in this game. Even when my opponent decided to use up one of his sips for it. Yeah, he rolled 2 2s, so I think I retained strategic advantage every turn in this game. My opponent does rally his Millites before they go off the board, so this is how things are looking. Again, I just pull my slingers up in front of my infantry, have a few choice shots just to kill a few more. Again, if they fall below 4 men, they just sort of dispersed anyway, and I spend my Thanes forming up into a shield wall just to give me that +1 armour. So my skirmishers flee, and he has plenty of move to get into the newly revealed unit of my Thanes. So I missed a shot here, but what happened on this flank is he charged his Millites into my skirmishers, which were caught and destroyed, and he ended up just in front of my Churls. So my Churls charged in and did 1 casualty, or no casualties, I'm not sure now. It might have been 1 casualty to the Millites, and they fled, and there's no chance I could catch them. Fleeing and pursue, in this game, you roll 3 dice. From memory, cavalry roll, pick the 2 highest dice. Formed infantry, pick the 2 lowest dice, and skirmishers, and I believe light infantry, pick the highest and lowest dice. Yeah, my opponent decided to turn his bowmen into some form of Gatling guns, as they got to mow down 5 of my Churls there, and these guys are in shield wall, which is a bit unfortunate for me, but well done to my opponent. And in this combat here, out of my 12 attacks, I managed to kill an almighty 2. And I think my opponent, that 3 dice there was just the 3 wounds he was going to roll for me, and I think he managed to wound all 3. And he won the combat, and he broke my Thanes. I just needed to kill 1 more to get rid of these guys. And then to make matters worse, he managed to pursue not only to capture my Thanes, but then ran into my skirmishers, which were fleeing, scattered them, so they count as destroyed, and completed his pursuit move into the flank of my Churls. So things are going horribly wrong right now. As you can see, I also need to take a morale check for these guys, because the resolution phase is done at the end. If I fail this morale check, these guys are destroyed, because it's quite interesting, because this is why the strategic advantage is so important, because what you can do is pursue into a unit which has to take a morale check from the shooting or units breaking, and if they fail, you destroy them as they try and flee and you scatter them. So this could now suddenly go horribly wrong here, with him wiping out my Churls and leaving me with very little left to wipe out his Millites. So this is the last shot I've got of the game, and this is how it all ended up. I managed to pass my morale check, so I didn't break. And in the combat, even though he killed 3 of mine, I managed to kill off the last guy that I needed. I only managed to get 1 through, but I did it, and wiped out the knights, which meant I completed my objective. That was the 2 most expensive units destroyed. And yeah, well happy with how this game played. It was great fun right up until the end. It looked like it was going to swing completely the other way towards it, and I think this rule system is very good, and hopefully I'll have some more battle reports coming up soon. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment or two if you want to find out more about the game and that. I'd like to actually try and communicate more with the YouTube community. I'm part of Historical War Gamers on Google Plus YouTube group thing. Warhammer YouTubers as well, I'm on there. I'm also with the Bolt Action one, so I am around. I try and post my videos up everywhere, and hopefully we get a good little community going. So until the next time, guys, thou Willis.